You don't die because of bad luck. That story is comforting, but it's false. You die because of habits you repeat, defend, and normalize every single day. You die slowly, politely, while telling yourself you still have time. You want to live to 100. Yet you eat like tomorrow is guaranteed. And consequences are optional. They are not. Every choice you make is either extending your life or quietly shortening it, and your body keeps score even when you refuse to look. You've been taught to believe. Longevity is mysterious, complex, reserved for genetics or privilege. That lie keeps you passive. It keeps you scrolling, searching, waiting for permission to change. The truth is uncomfortable. The biggest threat to your life is not disease, not age, not fate. It's your daily routine. It's what you put on your plate when no one is watching. It's the excuses you repeat so often they feel like facts. I'm busy. I deserve this. One more won't hurt. That voice is not your friend. It's slowly burying you. You don't need more information. You already know enough to live longer than most people. You know what real food looks like. You know what junk feels like afterward. You know which habits drain you and which ones quietly support you. That you lack is honesty. Brutal honesty. The kind that admits that comfort has been your priority, not health. Convenience, not longevity. Pleasure now, pain later. That trade feels invisible in your 20s, manageable in your 30s, alarming in your 40s, and irreversible if you wait too long. Here is a shocking truth most people avoid. Your body is not designed to tolerate constant stimulation, not constant sugar, not constant snacking, not constant excess. Every time you eat without end, eat every time you spike your blood sugar for entertainment, every time you choose ultra-processed food because it's easy, you create microscopic damage. You don't feel it immediately, so you dismiss it. But those small hits accumulate. Inflammation builds. Insulin resistance forms. Cells age faster. This isn't dramatic. It's mathematical. Another harsh reality, modern food is engineered to keep you sick enough to keep buying, but functional enough to keep working. That fog you feel after eating. NG. That crash in the afternoon. That unexplained weight gain. That stiffness when you wake up. None of it is normal aging. It's your body struggling under a load it was never meant to carry. You call it normal because everyone around you feels the same way. Widespread sickness does not make it healthy. You may believe living to 100% requires extreme discipline, joyless eating, or some elite lifestyle you can't access. That belief protects your inaction. The truth is simpler and more confronting. Living long requires repetition of basic choices. The same foods, the same timing, the same restraint, over and over. Not occasionally, not when it's convenient, every day. Longevity isn't built in bursts of motivation, it's built in boring consistency. Here's the mindset shift that changes everything. Stop asking what tastes good right now and start asking what your future body needs. That single question rewires your decisions. You stop eating for entertainment. You stop treating food like therapy. You stop negotiating with cravings as if they deserve a vote. Your body doesn't care about your cravings. It cares about survival, repair, and balance. When you align with that, energy returns. Clarity sharpens. Weight normalizes. Aging slow. You are not powerless. You are just distracted. Distracted by marketing. Distracted by noise. Distracted by people telling you that discipline is extreme and self-control is unhealthy. That's nonsense. What's unhealthy is pretending your choices don't matter. They matter more than anything else you do, more than workouts, more than supplements, more than motivation speeches. Food is the daily signal you send to every cell in your body. Right now, what signal are you sending? This is where it starts. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now, with awareness, with ownership, with the decision to stop outsourcing your health to hope. You don't need perfection, you need commitment. And it begins with what you choose to eat today, knowing that the life you reach at 100 is being built one ordinary meal at a time. You've been told longevity is complicated, buried under science words, locked behind money, genetics, or some secret only a few people discover. That story keeps you passive. It makes why. Believe your lifespan is out of your control, that aging is something that just happens to you. That belief is comfortable and it's deadly. The truth is far simpler and far more confronting. Most people don't fail to live long because they don't know what to do. They fail because they refuse to do the boring things consistently. You don't need another breakthrough. You don't need a miracle plan. You don't need to wait until the right time. You already know what real food looks like. You already know what leaves you feeling heavy, foggy, tired, and inflamed. You feel it every day, yet you keep choosing it. Not because you're ignorant, but because you're undisciplined. That's not an insult. It's a wake-up call. Discipline isn't punishment. It's self-respect practiced daily. You've been trained to believe complexity equals effectiveness. If it sounds simple, you assume it can't work. But the body doesn't respond to cleverness. It responds to consistency. It responds to rhythm. It responds to signals repeated over time. The same foods eaten daily send a clear message to your cells. Repair, stabilize, protect. Random eating sends chaos, and chaos ages you fast. Here's a hard realization most people avoid. Your problem isn't lack of motivation. It's lack of standards. You negotiate with yourself too much. You treat every craving like an emergency and every excuse like a law. I worked hard. I'm stressed. I'll start tomorrow. Tomorrow is where health goes to die. Ever. Each time you delay, your body doesn't pause. It keeps adapting to damage. It keeps lowering its expectations of you. You want variety because variety feels like freedom. In reality, it's what keeps you trapped. Constantly switching foods, plans, and our routines keeps your body guessing and your mind distracted. Longevity thrives on predictability. The longest living people on earth don't eat for excitement. They eat for stability. They repeat meals. They keep ingredients simple. They don't turn food into entertainment. They turn it into fuel and protection. Another uncomfortable truth, most of what you call normal eating is a modern invention. Constant snacking, sweet drinks, refined carbohydrates at every meal, late night eating driven by boredom, not hunger. Your body was never designed for that. It was designed for cycles. Eat, rest, repair, repeat. When you interrupt that cycle nonstop, your body never fully heals. It stays in survival mode. And survival mode accelerates aging you. Don't need willpower all day long. You need structure. When you remove decisions, you remove temptation. Eating the same core foods daily eliminates negotiation. There's no debate. There's no drama. You eat because it's time, not because you feel key. That one shift alone reduces stress on your mind and inflammation in your body. Simplicity is not weakness. It's strategy. Stop romanticizing food as reward. Food is information. It tells your genes how to behave. It tells your hormones when to spike and when to rest. It tells your immune system whether to calm down or stay on high alert. Right now, your food choices are shouting confusion. Clarity comes when you stop chasing pleasure and start choosing alignment. This isn't about deprivation. It's about direction. When you eat with intention, energy replaces cravings. When your blood sugar stabilizes, your mind calms. When your gut heals, your mood lifts. These aren't theories, they are consequences. Quiet, powerful consequences. Hat compound over time. Living to 100% doesn't begin with a dramatic transformation. It begins with humility. The humility to admit that simple things done daily outperform clever ideas done occasionally. The humility to accept that your future ends less on what you discover and more on what you repeat. Most people think aging is unavoidable, like a slow fade written into their DNA. That belief is convenient because it removes responsibility. But here is the uncomfortable truth. Most people don't age, they inflame. Their bodies live in a constant state of irritation, quietly fighting battles they were never meant to fight for decades. You feel it as stiffness in the morning, fatigue in the afternoon, brain fog that never fully lifts. Call it normal. It isn't. It's the result of daily choices piling up. Inflammation doesn't announce itself loudly at first. It whispers. It shows up as cravings that feel uncontrollable, energy that crashes without warning, sleep that never feels restorative. These are early warnings, not personality traits, not bad luck. Your body is signaling that it's under attack, and the source of that attack isn't mysterious. It's sugar spikes. It's refined carbohydrates stripped of fiber. It's seed oil, heated beyond recognition. It's eating all day long without ever allowing your system to rest. Here's the harsh realization most people resist. You are not tired because life is hard. You're tired because your metabolism is confused and your cells are overwhelmed. Every time you flood your bloodstream with glucose, insulin surges to control the damage. When this happens occasionally, the body adapts. When it happens all day, every day, the system breaks down. Insulin resistance forms silently. And with it comes accelerated aging, fat storage, and chronic disease. You don't feel sick yet, so you assume you're safe. That assumption is dangerous. Inflammation ages you faster than time ever could. It damages blood vessels, stiffens joints, dulls the mind, and weakens the immune system. It turns your own body into hostile territory. And the most frustrating part is this: much of it is optional. You are not a victim of your biology, you are a participant. Every meal either turns the fire or lets it cool. There is no neutral choice. Another truth that stings: eating for constant pleasure trains your body to crave chaos. Highly processed foods are designed to hijack your brain, spike dopamine, and demand repetition. They don't nourish you, they stimulate you. And stimulation is exhausting. Real nourishment feels different. It's calmer, it's steadier. It doesn't scream for attention. That's why it's easy to ignore and harder to choose. Your body heals when it's given silence. Silence from constant eating, silence from sugar, silence from chemical additives your system doesn't recognize. When inflammation drops, something powerful happens. Hunger becomes clearer, energy becomes stable, focus returns. These changes don't feel dramatic at first, but they are profound. You stop feeling like you're fighting yourself all day. Stop blaming age for what inflammation has done. Aches are not destiny. Brain fog is not maturity. Exhaustion is not a personality flaw. These are signals that the fire is burning too hot, and you are the one holding the match. That realization can feel heavy, but it's also freeing. If your choices help create this state, your choices can reverse it. Longevity isn't about pushing harder. It's about calming the system, cooling the fire, reducing the daily assaults that keep your body locked in defense mode. When you do that, aging slows not because of magic, but because your body finally has the space to repair. This is where discipline becomes compassion. Choosing foods that reduce inflammation isn't restriction. It's relief. Relief for your cells, your organs, your future. And once you feel that relief, going back to chaos no longer feels like freedom, feels like self-sabotage. You've been taught to fear old age, but age isn't the real threat. The real danger is what builds quietly long before anyone uses the word disease. You're not dying suddenly. You're breaking down slowly, invisibly, while telling yourself everything is fine. That's the trap. You feel functional, so you assume you're healthy. Functioning is not the same as thriving. It's often just delayed collapse. Here's a truth that cuts deep. People don't die of old age, they die of metabolic failure. Insulin resistance, vascular damage, chronic inflammation. These don't appear overnight. They take decades of cooperation. Every sugary drink, every refined meal, every late night binge plays a role. You don't see the damage because your body compensates. It works harder. It sacrifices efficiency to keep you moving. That compensation has a cost, and the bill always comes due. Your body is incredibly forgiving, but it is not endlessly patient. It will absorb abuse quietly for years, even decades. But eventually, the systems meant to protect you start to fail. Blood vessels stiffen, nerves lose sensitivity, organs struggle to communicate. When symptoms finally show up, they aren't the beginning of the problem, they are the final warning. UIGN. Or too long. Another uncomfortable realization: feeling normal in a sick society means nothing. When everyone around you is tired, overweight, medicated, and inflamed, dysfunction becomes the baseline. You measure yourself against people who are also unwell and call it fine. That comparison is killing you softly. Health should feel clear, light, and resilient. If you haven't felt that in years, something is wrong. You may believe serious problems happen to other people. People with worse habits, people with bad genes. That belief protects your ego, but it also delays change. The truth is ruthless. Your body doesn't care about your intentions. It only responds to patterns. Good intentions don't reverse insulin resistance. Repeated acti undoes. You can't out-exercise poor nutrition. You can't supplement your way out of chronic damage. You can't meditate away blood sugar chaos. These things help, but they don't cancel daily metabolic stress. Food is the primary signal. Ignore it, everything else becomes damage control. The most dangerous phase of decline is the silent one. No pain, no diagnosis, just gradual loss of energy, strength, and clarity. That's where most people live for years, thinking it's normal aging. It's warning time. And warning time is precious because it's when reversal is still possible. Here's the shift you must make. Stop waiting to feel sick before you act. Health is not something you fix, it's something you protect. Every day you delay, the margin for recovery shrinks. Every day you act, the body regains trust in you. This isn't meant to scare you, it's meant to wake you up. You still have leverage. Your body's still listening, but it won't wait forever. The slow damage you tolerate today becomes the crisis you can't avoid tomorrow. If you strip away the noise, the marketing, and the obsession with trends, what actually matters becomes almost embarrassingly simple. Your body doesn't need excitement. It needs protection. IT needs foods that lower stress inside your cells instead of creating it. Most people eat for flavor first and deal with the consequences later. Longevity flips that order. You eat for stability, and pleasure becomes a byproduct, not the goal. Foods that extend life don't shout. They don't come in flashy packages or promise instant results. They work quietly, day after day, repairing damage you didn't even realize was there. Fiber-rich plants slow digestion and steady blood sugar. Healthy fats support hormones and reduce inflammation instead of fueling it. Fermented foods rebuild the gut, where immunity and metabolism are decided long before disease appears. Simple proteins provide structure without overwhelming your system. None of this exciting, and that's exactly why it works. Here's a hard truth. Most people resist. Taste buds recover, but damaged cells don't. You've trained your palate on hyperstimulation, so real food feels dull at first. That's not because it's inferior, because your senses are overstimulated. Give your body time to reset, and something interesting happens. Subtle flavors return. Cravings fade. Hunger becomes honest instead of frantic. Your body starts guiding you instead of screaming at you. The realization that challenges modern habits. More isn't better. More protein, more supplements, more superfoods. None of that compensates for imbalance. Longevity is built on adequacy, not excess. Enough nutrients, enough time between meals, calm for your digestive system to do its job. Overloading the body, even with healthy foods, still creates stress. Stress accelerates aging. Your gut is not a garbage disposal, it's a gatekeeper. When you feed it processed foods, artificial additives, and constant sugar, it becomes inflamed and leaky. That inflammation spreads everywhere: joints, brain, skin, blood vessels. When you feed it real, simple foods consistently, it heals. And when your gut heals, everything else follows. Energy rises. Immunity strengthens. Mood stabilizes. These are not separate systems. They are one conversation. And food sets the tone. Stop chasing novelty. Novelty keeps you distracted and inconsistent. Consistency builds trust between you and your body. Eating similar meals daily reduces decision fatigue and temptation. It removes the emotional roller coaster around food. You stop asking, what do I feel like? And start asking, what supports me? That question changes behavior without force. You don't need perfection. You need alignment. Alignment between what your body evolved to handle and what you actually give it. Whole foods your ancestors would recognize. Meals that end with satisfaction, not heaviness. Enough space between eating to allow repair. These choices aren't extreme. They're ancestral. And they work because your biology hasn't changed. Even if your environment has... Longevity isn't about eating like a monk. It's about eating like a caretaker of your future. Energy, your clarity, your independence. When you choose foods that protect rather than excite, you're not giving something up. You're buying time. And time, when you reach the later decades of life, becomes the most valuable currency you'll ever possess. Surprises most people is this: living longer isn't about adding more things to your life. It's about removing what's quietly harming you. You've been trained to believe health comes from accumulation, more nutrients, more hacks, more routine. In reality, longevity begins when you stop overwhelming your system. Your body is not failing you. It's overloaded. Constant eating is one of the most underestimated forms of stress. Every time you eat, your body shifts into processing mode. Insulin rises. Digestion demands energy. Repair gets postponed. When you eat all day, your body never returns to baseline. It never fully rests. That state of constant activation keeps inflammation alive and aging accelerated. This isn't about starvation. It's about space. Refined sugar is another silent thief. It doesn't just add calories, it disrupts communication inside your body. It spikes blood sugar, demands insulin, and leaves damage in its wake. You may feel energized for a moment, but the crash that follows is your body struggling to regain balance. Repeat that cycle daily, and imbalance becomes your new normal. Remove sugar, and the chaos calms faster than most people expect. Late night eating deserves brutal honesty. Most of it has. Nothing to do with hunger. It's boredom, stress, habit. But your body doesn't interpret it that way. Eating late interferes with sleep, disrupts hormones, and blocks nighttime repair. When you deny your body that repair window, you age faster at the cellular level. No supplement can undo that. Removing late meals often delivers more benefit than adding any superfood. Ultra-processed foods are designed to bypass your natural stop signals. They make you eat past need and crave more soon after. They inflame the gut, confuse the brain, and weaken metabolic control. Removing them feels hard only because you're withdrawing from stimulation, not because your body needs them. Once they're gone, appetite becomes calmer and more predictable. Ease the mindset shift that changes everything. Removal is not deprivation. It's relief. Relief from constant decision-making. Relief from crashes and cravings. Relief from inflammation your body has been fighting alone. When you remove what harms you, your body doesn't panic. It recovers. You don't need heroic willpower. You need clear boundaries, fewer eating windows, fewer ingredients, fewer exceptions. Structure creates freedom, not restriction. When the rules are simple, compliance becomes automatic. Longevity grows in the quiet, in the meals you didn't eat, in the sugar you didn't justify, in the late night snack you skipped. These small absences create space for repair, and repair is where long life is built. People keep searching for a miracle, a single food or secret that guarantees a long life. That search itself is the problem. The real driver of longevity isn't discovery, it's repetition. The body doesn't change because of what you do once. It changes because of what you do. So often it becomes automatic. Consistency is not boring when you understand its power. It's surgical. The truth most people don't want to hear is this: your body thrives on predictability. Stable meal timing, familiar foods, repeated signals of SA. When those signals are clear, hormones settle, digestion improves, and repair processes run smoothly. Chaos forces your body into defense mode. Defense mode ages you. Calm mode preserves you. Eating the same core foods day after day is not a act of imagination. It's respect for biology. When your blood sugar stays stable, your energy doesn't spike and crash. When your gut recognizes what's coming, digestion becomes efficient instead of inflammatory. When your system isn't constantly surprised, it stops overreacting. That's when healing accelerates. Another uncomfortable realization: variety is often an excuse for indulgence. It keeps you chasing stimulation instead of nourishment. You tell yourself you need options, when what you really need is reliability. The longest living populations on Earth don't obsess over menus. They repeat meals. They eat seasonally. They don't confuse choice with freedom. Consistency also removes emotional decision-making when food is already dead, cravings lose power. Stress eating has no opening. You stop negotiating with yourself 5 times a day. That mental quiet alone reduces cortisol, a hormone that accelerates aging when chronically elevated. Fewer decisions, calmer mind, longer faith. This is where most people sabotage themselves. They want results without commitment. They want flexibility without consequences. Longevity doesn't work that way. The body responds to loyalty. Show it the same supportive patterns long enough, and it rewards you with resilience. You don't need perfection. You need adherence. Miss a day and return, slip and reset. The power is not in never failing. It's in always coming back to the same foundation. That's how decades are built, not just weeks. Consistency also builds identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone trying to be healthy and start acting like someone who simply eats this way. Identity-driven habits last. Motivation fades. Identity stays. Living to 100 isn't about dramatic overhauls. About choosing a few protective behaviors and refusing to abandon them. Day after day, year after year. That's not restrictive. That's how long life quietly happens.